Hey guys, Chris Fayte with Cheat the Game coming back at you. Today I'm going to be taking a look at multi-level pointers. My buddy, my great friend over at guidedhacking.com, and Amanda Rate gave a great lesson on looking up multi-level pointers, different methods of doing so, also generating pointer maps, and he shows you how to get the best possible results more quickly. So I'm not going to really go into that too much. I'm going to link that vid right up here in the upper right hand corner in the description. Please go watch it. It's great stuff. He's a great teacher, and Guided Hacking is full of great game hacking information that goes well beyond Cheat Engine into other avenues of game hacking with C++, C#, IDA Pro, you name it, they got it on there. Go check them out. But what I'm going to be doing is we're going to look up a multi-level pointer. I'm going to be using Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, and this method, I don't really recommend doing that all the time, but it is a viable method that we can use when you're having trouble maybe in some of these games finding a stable compare when you're writing your script out and it's just frustrating you half to death. Well, we can also go the multi-level pointer route in doing so. So what we're going to do is look up a multi-level pointer for a 64-bit game. I'm going to show you how to do that, and I'm going to show you how to do it without the game even running to get more stable pointers. And then what we're going to do in the past, if you remember, we used a multi-level pointer. One, we used it in a create thread, and also we used a multi-level pointer in another vid to write Lua script to write to a multi-level pointer. Well, this time I'm going to show you how to use a multi-level pointer in assembly, where we look up a location that's constantly reading and we put it in that location, and I'm going to show you how we borrow registry and how to have each and every offset being put into there to reach our dynamic address. And I want to show you how to do all that where it constantly writes your health value and you have infinite health without having to write a script to find compares and all that mess when you're having trouble doing so. So let me go ahead and bring the game on up, and I'll go ahead and grab Cheat Engine, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, thanks for holding, guys. I'm back, and also I want to feature these two logos right here. You see up on the screen. The top one is done by a good friend of mine, Exploit Mods. The bottom one is done by another friend of mine. His name is Med Anor. I will put their names up on the screen. Somebody had mentioned on the Facebook page in regards to, hey, we need to see if maybe we can recreate the Cheat the Game logo. I said, well, hey, show me what you got. So they started submitting different ones. So I want to go ahead and put those up here. And if you have any ideas for logos and things that we can feature, come over to the Facebook page and you can submit them over there. We're happy to take a look at them. And like I say, I'll be featuring different ones on these vids as well as they come up. So I appreciate you guys doing all this hard work and everything. And I'm definitely keeping these, and we'll possibly use them later in the future as well. So thank you so much. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, I just want to show this. I've already got my script wrote for it, so I'm going to kind of cheat just a little bit instead of looking up the health, because that's just going to take a little more time than I want. I've already got infinite health with this script. However, I've also assigned it a symbol, and I'm having that symbol, or excuse me, the characters or heroes based address being wrote to that symbol right here, writing to the health addy, and I've allocated that spot in memory already, and it's just writing the base address, and all I have to do is add the offset to it right here, which is 118, and it'll give me the health address every time. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're pretending like we didn't find that address. You're having to look up the health address each time you want to do a pointer, okay? So that makes it a little bit harder. That would make the vid a lot longer. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to say we looked it up. If you want to find health yourself for this game, it's on a float value at 200. And it's that way the entire game. You don't go up any levels to make health higher or anything like that. It's 200 flat, and you go down and max is 200. So you can find it very easily. Just get into a fight, take some damage, and then just kind of run around a little bit. Your health will go back up 200. It'll auto heal after about, I don't know, 10 seconds or so if you don't get hit. So that's how you find health for this game. Well, we're going to say we've already found it, so we're going to go ahead and get into the game now. I'm not going to be fighting any enemies because I can have the health automatically be found already, and we're just going to go straight to finding the pointers, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm going to show you how to do it where we can find pointers without even having the game up. And I showed this before on one vid already, and I'll link that one up here as well. And as you see, our health address this go around, it's a dynamic address, is this right here. So what I want to do is I'm automatically going to go ahead and generate a pointer map. We want to generate a pointer maps, and I recommend just creating a folder somewhere, label it pointers, something that you can possibly delete later because you don't want to keep these. And I'm just going to name this, and I made a mistake already. What we want to do is we want to copy that address first. So we're going to copy the address, and then we're going to generate our pointer map because we want to put that address on the pointer map. Let me do it this way. I'm so sorry. Let's just create a new address because this will just get confusing later on when I'm trying to show you something. And we'll put it at the bottom of the list, and that'll be important later, and you'll see why. Let's generate a pointer map based off that. So we're going to put HB for Hellblade, health, and I'm just going to put the address. I'm going to put health 1, and we're going to generate 3 different pointer maps. Let's go back to our pointers folder, and let's save it. And it's going to generate the pointer map. I'm not going to sit here and waste your time while it does this. It could take a little bit of time, so I'm going to cut it, and I'll be right back when this is done. Okay, the first scan is now finished, so it is saved. What we need to do is we need to change the pointers. So I'm going to go back to the main menu. Normally we just close down the game, but going back to the main menu in this game, it will change the pointers, and that's what we need to do. And we're going to do a second scan. Or excuse me, we're going to create a second pointer map with the new address. And I'm going to keep adding it to the bottom, and I'm going to show you why in a minute, because we're going to look up these pointers without this game even running. And that'll help weed them out a lot more too, some good valid pointers. And then after we find a good stable pointer, we're going to write a script with it. And I'm going to show you how to find a place in memory and how to do it in assembly as well. So I want to also thank my good friend Free ER, also goes aka Ben. He kind of showed me this and a question that he answered one time, and I thought it was a great idea to put on here as another method that we hadn't really talked about. So I want to thank him for that. Alright, so let's bring this back up, and you'll see here that this pointer will change once the game loads. It takes a little bit longer because this is a big game. It's got some of the best graphics I think I've seen in a game in a long time, and I really love this game. But right now we just want to get that pointer to change. Now what you would do normally in a game is you would go fight monsters again, re-find your health address. It's a huge pain to find these pointers and everything. So, but like I say, I'm kind of cheating. We're just pretending like we're fighting enemies, finding the health address again, and then going from there. But I just kind of want to save some time. Alright, as you saw here, the address changed. So we're going to take this new address. I'm just going to copy it. And we're just going to paste it in its own little section here. Put it on float. And what we want to do is we want to create a new and generate a new pointer map. We're going to change this right here to 2. And we're going to paste the new address. This is so we can find it later because we're going to need that information. So it's going to generate a whole new pointer map, and like I say, I'm not going to sit here while it does that. I'm going to cut it and come back once it's finished generating. All it's going to do is just go straight across. It's calculating all the different pointer paths, and that could take it a few minutes, so I'll be right back. Okay, we just generated our second pointer map. So now we're going to create one more pointer map. We need at least 3 to get a good viable source or sources to these pointer paths, because we're going to compare all 3 pointer maps while it's doing its scan. It's going to compare all 3 of them, and any one of them that sticks around during all 3 scans is usually a pretty stable pointer path. Now you still would need to play through most of the game to make sure. So But this will help you. It's like doing 3 different scans at once. So let's go ahead and change the pointers again. We're going to exit to the main menu. Just like last time, rinse, wash, and repeat. And let's continue. It will change the pointer paths, and the new address will pop up here. And there we go. We got our new address. So let's go ahead and copy that address down. Control C. And we're going to add that manually as well. Put that on float. And we have our new one. So we're going to generate our 3rd pointer map. And we'll just change that to 3. With our address. Their new address. And we're going to save that information. And it's going to generate this pointer map. And like I say, it could take it a few minutes. I don't want to waste time because we got a lot to cover. Once we got to find the pointer, and then we're going to write a script with it. So I don't want to waste any time that I have to. But you see it goes rather quickly. But I'm going to go ahead and cut it, and I'll come back as soon as it's finished. Alrighty. Our pointer map has been created. We got 3 different pointer maps for 3 different addresses with pointer paths. And what I want to do now is I'm going to completely close the game out. Now this would really be useful if you have an extra computer. What I would recommend doing, if you do have another computer, have Cheat Engine on it, is go to your pointer folder, put it on a USB file. Here's all your pointers right here. And just put it on a USB file and go to another computer, and that will weed them out even more to get better pointer paths. But I don't have another computer to go to, so I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way. And I'm going to start with the very last address. As you see, we got the game closed down. It's completely closed down, but yet we can still scan for these pointer paths. As long as you have that generated that pointer map, you can use it without the game running. And this will help weed them down a lot to have good stable pointers. So let's go to pointer scan for this address, and it's automatically going to populate that address in here, and we are going to use our saved pointer map, which is this one right here. Okay. Another thing I forgot to do before we do that, you'll see this right here. Now this was a 64-bit game, and these addresses aren't necessarily 4 bytes, as you can see. It's more than 4 bytes, so they're not 32-bit aligned. We want to uncheck that box. And let's go ahead and re-put that. We have to do that before we check on that, or it's going to gray it out. So what I want to do is we're going to compare it with our other pointer map. We're going to go to the second one, and we need to see the address ending in 8D58, and because we're going to have to find it. And that's why I wanted to put the address down at the bottom. It saved a little snapshot of it right here, and that's why we wanted to do that. And also we want to compare it with our very first pointer map, which ends in 5858. And that's also why we put that address down here, and it saved a snapshot of it. We can use this one right here. Now sometimes it gets a little tough in these games that just recently come out and things like that. We might have to play around with the maximum offset value and the maximum level. Now what the maximum offset value is how high the offsets go that it will search. Also the max level is how many pointers it's going through. Normally it's best just to go ahead and start off like this, and that's what we're going to do. And if something don't populate within like 10 to 15 seconds, we're going to play around with it and maybe increase them a little bit. And that's what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and start. First off, we're just going to name it Hellblade Health First Scan, and save that to our pointer folder. And it's going to go through and it's going to bring up all the pointer maps, and it's going to compare between all 3 of them. And this is what we're interested in right here, results found. And you'll see, and you'll come across this a lot, nothing. It found nothing. So guess what? We need to play around with it a bit so it can help us find something. So we're going to have to do it again. And we're going to do it the exact same way. We got to reload everything back up again. And And I'm going to do it the exact same way. And you run into this a lot, and I get a lot of questions in regards to this. And if it's not finding anything, what do I do? Well, first off, I'm going to increase this to about 5,000. And I'm going to increase this to about 10. Now, for a 64-bit game, it's not uncommon for it to go through 10 different offsets. So, I'm going to do that and see if anything populates this time. This will give it more search parameters. So, let's go ahead and do that and see if we get anything this time. I'm just going to overwrite the first one. And yes, we want to replace it, so it's going to do it again. And this is what we're looking for right here. So let's bring that up, and now it's got more sections to look through. Okay, thank you for holding, guys. Well, you didn't have to hold it all, but actually it's a lot later. So I let the pointer scan run for a good hour or so, and I was able to find a few of them. So I kind of tried them out and everything. So they're finding the pointers every single time I put the game down, bring it back up, put the game back down, bring it back up. And so we're going to be using these right here, and I'm going to use the smallest one I can find right now, and that was it. And you can see how many offsets it's going through. So I had to really raise it up to a max level. Probably, I think it was around 6,500 with the max level of 10. And I just let it run for a good hour, and it was able to find some. You just have to play around with those settings, and it gets really frustrating. But if you just stick with it, you will find some. But what I want to do is let's go ahead and start writing a script. I'm going to show you how to write a script in assembly, not Lua this time, but just regular assembly. And we're going to do it another way. Now, I did show one way where we just put the pointer out there and then write a float value to it. And as you can see, it's finding my address right off the bat. And like I said, I didn't really get too much into the pointer scanner because, like I said, I blinked some videos up there for you to go take a look at if you want to more in depth on pointer scanning, finding pointer paths, things like that. Like I say, Rate gave a great one. But what I want to do is I just want to get one that I know is working. It's worked just about. I brought the game up about 4 times, and it's found it every time. We still need to play through the game with a little bit just to make sure. But what I want to do is I want to come over here. Now, you remember in the past when we did it in this method here. Well, we're not going to do it this way this time. I'm going to show you a different way, and we're going to borrow Registry to have it write each pointer to the registry, and finally the end result will write the value to it, which is 200. So I'm going to take that off here, and what I want to do is I need to copy down these offsets as well as the base address all the way, or really I just need the pointer paths. Well, no, we need the base address also, I'm sorry. And we're going to copy it all the way up to its final result here. So I'm just doing that right quick here. And we got our pointer, make sure that they're correct. And they are. I got the base address good. Now what we want to do is we want to use, and as you can see it's the same, so they're finding the same address. Like I say, this is more like a last resort type method. You're just not able to find a compare or anything like that. You still have a way to do it to get infinite health and everything if you just get tired of doing that. And believe me, I have plenty of times. What we want to do is find out what is accessing the address. And really, we just want to find any place in memory that is constantly reading. We got 2 in here already. I'm just going to go to the top one. We see where it's doing a compare. And this is the health address, ends in the offset of 118. So we're going to show that in the disassembler. And I'm going to put it above. We only have 3 locations before it hits a return, 3 opcodes before it hits a return. So I'm going to put it above there. And we're going to do a AOB injection. And we're just going to say, we're just going to call this health pointer. It does its scan and everything. And what we want to do is we need this information. We need all these offsets and the information. And what we want to do is we want to have that pointer brought up and 200 wrote to it every single time, but we're doing it in assembly. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to bar a registry by pushing RBX. So it'll push whatever's in RBX now onto the stack to save it. Now we can use it for whatever we want. And what we want to do is we want to move into RBX. We want to start from the very bottom and go all the way to the end result, which is this right here. Okay? And that's why we put it in that order, because it starts here at this base address. So we want to move into RBX, this right here, in brackets, be the value, which is the address, into RBX. And we want to do something else also. Now these pointers are very unstable, and if it changes or fluctuates any, it could crash your game. To prevent that, what we're going to do is we're going to compare what's just been wrote to RBX. If it equals 0, we're going to jump if equal to code 2. And that's what I'm going to do here, is I'm going to make a new label. Actually, I don't have to do that. We're going to jump the code. I'm going to show you. We don't need to be putting this in code. We need to put this up in new min under that label. That way we can jump the code and we're good. So keep it away from the original code. So if any of these offsets, it comes back with a 0 or nil value, it will just jump the code and not worry about the pointer anymore. That'll keep your game from crashing. Of course, you're going to lose health, so it'll be something you need to work on. So the next thing we need to do is move RBX, and we need to go on down the list. We're going to put RBX, which is already the value, which is the address, moved into here, and we need that address plus the offset that we have next, which is 1080 right here. And we're going to do the same thing again. Compare RBX to 0. If it equals 0 or nil value, just go ahead and jump the code. Don't do anything else. So let me move this down the list a little bit, and I'm just going to copy and paste this every single time so we can put our new offset in there. And we'll just keep going down the list till we get to the end, which is 118. And I'll show you what we do at that area, because we're going to do that one just a little bit differently. Let me just see how many offsets I got. This is getting monotonous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need it 7 more times. So we're going to copy, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright. And we just come down to the next one, which is 320. Let me see if I can move this up here where I can look at it. There we go. That way I ain't got to constantly move back and forth. So we'll go 320, 78, 8, 80, and we have 850, 1020, and the last one, which is 118, which is the very last one that moves into there, which is our dynamic address. So we want to do this one just a little bit differently. What we want to do now that we're at the end, we want to load effective address. We want to load effective address because that will be the address. If we keep it like this, it'll just be the value. We could also just do RBX and then move that into the float into that, but I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to load effective address and just keep RBX by itself, and we're going to move into RBX. with the brackets around it, the value of float 200. We need to give RBX back to the system, so we're going to pop. It should be right there on top of the stack, and it's going to move what was previously in there back to RBS, and it's just going to continue on to code. So let's assign that to the current cheat table. Alright, and I'm just going to label this health pointer script. I can spell. There we go. And what I want to do is I want to move this down to like 50 or 20, and we'll move it down to 20, and I'm going to turn this on, see if it works, and take a look. Put it right back to 200. So anytime we lose health, it's going to write it right back, because it's constantly writing at this location. If we want to jump down and take a look, here's our scripts right here. And you can see it's loading each pointer in there all the way to its base source, and then we're moving in 200. And that is 200 in hexadecimal float value, 4348. If you wanted to write it that way, you could. Instead of just putting float 200, you can write it this way. This is float 200. That's what it looks like in hexadecimal. Take that back off. We can put it as a float 200 like this. Click OK. Let's put this down about 10. Turn it on. Boom. Back 200. See that? And that'll help give you infinite health. You can continue on your game with infinite health without having to find compares or anything like that. But like I say, you want to try to do something like that as a last resort. Now that's the way to do it in assembly. I showed you another method of doing it in Lua. And we also did it in a create thread. So you do have multiple ways you can have infinite health in writing it in script form, where you don't have to keep constantly looking it up over and over and over again. So there are all kind of ways you can do this, and there are plenty of other ways you can do it. But we do recommend that you go try to find compares and things like that first. This is a last resort because pointers are very, very, very unstable. And you want to go through most of the game before you even attempt to go the multi-pointer route, especially in these later games, okay? Alrighty. Well, I know this is going to be a little quicker. I thought it would actually last longer than this, but I just didn't feel like showing the pointer scanning. It took me a long time to do that, and like I say, there's plenty of vids out there and some great ones. If you want more in-depth information on it, I'm going to link up 2 vids automatically, one from Rake, one from myself, that I went into depth on it, and Assassin's Creed Unity. And I'll show you, and I did the exact same thing I just did here. So, and I went through the entire process. But come join us over at the Facebook channel. We have a lot of game hackers that hang out there. And if you have any questions, you can post them up there. And if we have answers for you, we'll certainly try our best to help you. Now, also come join us over at our cheatthegame.net, and that is our website that we got up and running. It's still in the beginning stages right now, so come get in on the ground floor. Come sign up, and we'll be happy to help you there as well. Also, you can join us at our Discord channel. I want to thank my partners. We got a few new ones. I want to thank these guys. They've donated to Patreon. This helps us out tremendously, and this helps keep the website up and running. And eventually we can get some give out some giveaways and things like that, Amazon cards, to get you some computer equipment, software, or games. And we're going to give away Steam game keys, and we're doing that all the time anyway. And I want to thank Richard Tester. He does that a lot. Kenneth, he does that a lot. So come over, and we got free games all the time, so come join us and check that out as well. Alright, I think I've covered just about everything. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. Come over to the Facebook channel. If I can get to it, I'll try my best to answer it. My time is very, very limited with the working and everything like that, and I'm sorry about that. That's why I have these other outlets that you can come ask your questions. But I really appreciate all your guys' support and all that you do to help us out at Cheat the Game. We really do appreciate you, and we want you to come join us. We love to get to know who you are, and have your friends come over Please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I got more content coming out, and we're going to keep learning. We're going to keep going deeper and deeper, and we're going to learn this stuff backwards and forwards. And as I learn it, I teach it to you. All right, guys, I'm out of here. You all take care. Keep on hacking. Most importantly, please enjoy yourself. That's really what it's all about. You cheat the game, fellas, because believe me, it doesn't mind cheating you. You all take care now.